Then, too, the Queen of Sheba, having heard of the fame of Solomon in the name of the Lord, arrived to test him with enigmas. And entering into Jerusalem with a great retinue, and with riches, and with camels carrying aromatics, and with an exceedingly great quantity of gold and precious stones, she went to King Solomon. And she spoke to him all that she held in her heart. And Solomon taught her, in all the words that she had proposed to him. There was not any word which was able to be hidden from the king, or which he did not answer for her. Then, when the Queen of Sheba saw all the wisdom of Solomon, and the house that he had built, and the food of his table, and the dwelling places of his servants, and the rows of his ministers, and their apparel, and the cupbearers, and the holocausts that he was offering in the house of the Lord, she had no longer any spirit in her. And she said to the king, "The word is true, which I have heard in my own land, about your words and your wisdom. But I did not believe those who explained it to me, until I went myself and saw it with my own eyes. And I have discovered that the half of it has not been told to me. Your wisdom and works are greater than the report that I have heard. Blessed are your men, and blessed are your servants, who stand before you always, and who hear your wisdom. Blessed is the Lord your God, whom you have greatly pleased, and who has placed you upon the throne of Israel. For the Lord loves Israel forever, and he has appointed you as king, so that you may accomplish judgment and justice." Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and an exceedingly great amount of aromatics and precious stones. No greater quantity of aromatics was ever again brought forth as these, which the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Then, too, the navy of Hiram, which carried gold from Ophir, brought an exceedingly great quantity of thean wood and precious stones from Ophir. And the king made, from the thean wood, the posts of the house of the Lord, and of the house of the king, and citharas and lyres for the musicians. No thean trees of this kind were ever again brought forth or seen, even to the present day. Then King Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba all that she desired and requested of him, aside from what he himself had offered to her from his royal bounty. And she returned and went away to her own land, with her servants. Now the weight of the gold that was brought to Solomon each year was 666 talents of gold. Aside from what was brought to him by the men who were over the tributes, and by the merchants, and by those selling every kind of small item, and by all the kings of Arabia, and by the rulers of the land. Also, King Solomon made 200 large shields from the purest gold. He dispensed 600 shekels of gold for the layers of one shield. And for the 300 crescent-shaped shields of tested gold, there were 300 minas of gold covering one shield. And the king placed these in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Also, King Solomon made a great throne from ivory. And he clothed it with a great quantity of red gold. The throne had 6 steps, and the summit of the throne was rounded in the back section. And there were 2 hands, on one side and the other, holding the seat. And 2 lions were standing beside each hand, with 12 little lions standing upon the 6 steps, on one side and the other. No similar work has been made, ever in any kingdom. Moreover, all the vessels from which King Solomon would drink were of gold. And all the items in the house of the forest of Lebanon were of the purest gold. There was no silver, nor was any accounting made of silver in the days of Solomon. For the navy of the king, once every 3 years, went with the navy of Hiram by sea to Tarshish, bringing from there gold, and silver, and elephant tusks, and primates, and peacocks. And so, King Solomon was magnified above all the kings of the earth in riches and in wisdom. And all the earth desired to see the face of Solomon, so as to hear his wisdom, which God had granted to his heart. And each one brought him gifts, vessels of silver and of gold, clothing and weapons of war, as well as aromatics, and horses, and mules, throughout each year. And Solomon gathered together the chariots and horsemen. And he had 1,400 chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And he placed them in the walled cities, and with the king at Jerusalem. And he caused silver to be as abundant in Jerusalem as stones, and he supplied a multitude of cedars like the sycamores that grow in the plains. And horses were brought for Solomon from Egypt and from Cu. For the merchants of the king were buying these from Cu. And they paid out the established price. Now a 4-horse chariot would be sent from Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And in this manner, all the kings of the Hittites and of Syria were selling horses.